Hello, scholars. This is the first video of Unit 3. We're talking about the cardiovascular system. So let's get going. There's a lot to cover. All right. When we start a unit, we want to know what are the main parts and what do they do. So when we say the CV system, we're talking about the cardiovascular system. Cardio meaning heart, vascular meaning your vessels, okay? Vessels that carry the blood from the heart and back to the heart. Now, this cardiovascular system, the heart and those blood vessels and the blood that's in them, right, are helping to maintain homeostasis, that home state, that ideal set of conditions where you work best. Your cells can be most efficient. You're good at getting energy, using energy, doing work, fighting off disease, all that sort of stuff. Your cardiovascular system is essential for delivering oxygen and nutrients to your cells. Your cells need sugar, they need different nutrients, they need oxygen, and when they're doing that work, they're going to produce carbon dioxide and urea as waste, as well as other things. And so, your heart, your blood vessels, and your blood work together to deliver that oxygen to the cells and take the carbon dioxide waste away. All right. So here's a picture of my heart. The heart, the heart is the main pump. Okay, it's a muscle, it's a cardiac muscle, and that's going to squeeze, contract, and expand to put pressure on the blood in the system. All right, it's a series of pipes or vessels that go from your heart all the way through the body, and when I squeeze, I put pressure that moves the blood through your body. Now, it moves the blood through these things called blood vessels. Right? You see the big blood vessels coming off the heart, they get skinnier and skinnier and skinnier until you're down to capillaries. And in these blood vessels is blood. So the blood vessels are the tubes, the pipes that carry the blood. And the blood is the stuff inside. It's mostly water, carries the gases, carbon dioxide and oxygen, the nutrients, the sugars, the proteins, carbs, the amino acids, fats, the nucleic acids, as well as the waste products and antibodies from your immune system all throughout your body. So, cardiovascular system, three main things. Heart, blood vessels, blood. Make sure you got a well-labeled picture. On to the next one. So how is this system structured? Okay, if you're looking for the picture, I'm going to blow it up at the end, make it bigger so it's easier to see. But we have two circuits, the pulmonary circuit and the systemic circuit. Pulmonary means lungs. Okay, so it's heart to the lungs, back to the heart. Here's my pulmonary circuit. It goes out of the heart to the lungs and back to the heart. From the heart to the lungs, back to the heart. All right, it's my pulmonary circuit. I'm going to drop off my carbon dioxide and pick up my O2, my oxygen. Then the heart is going to pump again. There's one heart, but it pumps for both circuits. Now, each side of the heart is differentiated for a different circuit. So when I pump, I pump to the lungs. I also, with different chambers, see back here, I pump out to the rest of the body. So I've got, in my systemic circuit, I go from the heart to all the rest of the cells in my body and back to my heart again. Now, when it goes out, where's my mouse? There it is. It goes out, it's going to break up. Half of it's going to go to the head, half of it's going to go to the rest of your body, your lower extremities. All right? But in both places, at my capillaries, I'm exchanging oxygen for carbon dioxide. Oxygen for carbon dioxide. All right? At my cells. The cells in my brain, the cells in my jaw, the cells in my stomach, the cells in my toes. These are all in the systems of my body, or the systemic circuit. Everything other than your lungs. Pulmonary circuit is your lungs. Everything else, your fingers, your toes, your nose, your ears, your security system, are your systems, your systemic circuit. How are you connected? Well, there's three different types of blood vessels. Your arteries. Remember, arteries start with A. They carry blood away from the heart. Lots of times you'll see them as red, but they're not always red. If you notice, blood going away from the heart to the lungs is blue because it's deoxygenated. It doesn't have a lot of oxygen in it. When blood is oxygenated, it turns red. Okay, coming back from the lungs, it's red. Going to the cells, it's red. Drops off the oxygen. Now it's blue again because it doesn't have as much. Okay, so Carrying blood away from the heart are arteries. Carrying blood towards the heart are veins. All right, and they're structurally different. Arteries have to be thicker. They carry more pressure than veins do. And the capillaries are really, really thin, and they're leaky. They let the fluid of the blood leak out to carry that oxygen, carbon dioxide out to the cells. So the arteries and veins are sealed until you get to the capillaries. Capillaries is where exchange happens. Oxygen for carbon dioxide, nutrients for waste. So here's a bigger picture there. So you can trace the path of the blood. So it comes out of the heart to the lungs, back to the heart, out to the body, back to the heart, out to the lungs, back to the heart, out to the body, back to the heart, out to the lungs, back to the heart, out to the body. Lub, dub, lub, dub, lub, dub, lub, dub. Heart's beating, and it gets blood throughout your whole body. Last thing, the blood. There's 4 parts of the blood. Each part does something different. You have the plasma, which is the fluid portion. It's the largest part of the blood. 50% of the blood is water. And that water, which is the plasma, okay, has dissolved in it nutrients, carbon dioxide, and then you have the other blood cells floating within the plasma. So the plasma is the liquid portion, right? That's the fluid. You can see here, when you break it all up, more than 50% water. The next biggest portion are the red blood cells. A lot of times you'll see these abbreviated, RBC. Red blood cells have this protein called hemoglobin. Hemoglobin grabs oxygen and carries it. It makes your blood 4 times more efficient. You can carry 4 times more oxygen with hemoglobin than without it. So the hemoglobin in the red blood cells carries the oxygen from your lungs to your cells and drops it off. It's like a taxi service. The platelets. Okay? Platelets are cell fragments that come from your bone marrow. And they're just little fragments or pieces of other blood cells. And it's garbage, but it's useful garbage floating around in your blood. So when there's a hole, you get a cut, you start bleeding. You need to seal up that blood vessel quick. You stuff junk in it. These are the platelets. And it helps to form clots or scabs. Okay? Last thing, you have your white blood cells. White blood cells are the blood cells of your immune system. And they're going to fight viruses and bacteria, and they go on hunting missions to find anything that's foreign. We consider that a pathogen, and they attack it. Okay? If it doesn't belong there, white blood cells get it out. Cool? All right. So here's my blood vessel. Got my plasma, got my platelets, got my red blood cells, got my white blood cells. 4 parts of the blood. Biggest part, water. Next biggest part, red blood cells. Then you get some white blood cells, about 1%, and the other stuff that's in the plasma, about 4%. Cool. Quick review. You want to know the main parts of the cardiovascular system and what they do. You want to know the structures of the cardiovascular system, the 2 circuits, the 3 types of vessels, and the 4 parts of the blood and how they deliver things. All right. You want to learn more? Chapter 23, sections 1 and 2. Write down all your questions. Make sure you get your pictures, all the text on the slide. We'll see you in class to discuss.